welcome to our kitchen today. In our conversations in the kitchen here, I have with me a very special guest, Sister Joan Marie Sassy. And Sister Joan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Benedictine nun, and I live in Grand Terrace. I came to California from Indiana in 1966. I've been a teacher. I've taught from first grade to college. I went into retreat work and to parish work. I also got involved in neuro-linguistic programming. I'm one of the directors at the Holistic Renewal Center in Beaumont. And I give retreats on a regular basis at our house in Grand Terrace.
Well, that's how I met you.
Yes.
That was such a great day.
And you came and walked the labyrinth.
And I walked the labyrinth, and if you've not experienced the labyrinth, I'm going to tell you you need to start looking for one, but maybe we'll get into that a little later today. Our topic today is how you can change your life by changing your mind. Now, you really have to explain this because there's been parts of my life that I certainly haven't liked, and I did not know that my mind could do anything about it. I thought I had to get up and physically fix something. So share with me what you're thinking.
One of the funniest things, Hazel, is that nothing, absolutely nothing will ever change in our life until we change our mind. And none of us, there's not a one of us who likes to change. Oh, I really think the only one that likes to change is a baby with a wet diaper.
Yeah, you got it.
You know, they're the only ones. And we started resisting change as a child. You know, I mean, I taught first grade, and I would see kids coming into kindergarten and preschool. They didn't want to change and have somebody else to take mommy's place. You know, yeah. I used to babysit when I was younger, and it was the first time babysitting. Kids would cry. They didn't want a different authority figure in the house. So we kind of grew up resisting change. But one of the things that I've noticed, you know, working with children is that they can adapt so much easier than we can.
So that kind of means it's really difficult to teach an old dog a new trick.
We're stuck. We're really stuck. We're stuck.
Oh my.
You know what happens is with the child, you know, let's say, for example, they would come into first grade and they would be crying. They didn't want, I just needed to show them a toy or show them a book, and they were totally involved in something else, and they moved on to the next station.
Sure.
That was fine. But we adults, we make choices, we make changes, and then we complain about the changes we made. I shouldn't have done this. Should I have done this?
Back to the guilts.
Yeah.
The shoulds.
The shoulds.
The shoulds.
Yes, yes. And so we keep crucifying ourselves and punishing ourselves for choices that we made, when in reality, we can't change those choices. We can make different choices today, but the past is over. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there. One of the things I learned in neuro-linguistic programming is that nothing outside of us has the power to make us happy or sad. It's how we choose to look at it.
Wow. Say that again.
Nothing, not a situation, not a person, nothing outside of us has the power to make us happy or sad. It's how we choose to look at it, how we choose to look at the situation. And we often, we blame everything on, you know, family members, the government, the environment, the weather. All of these things are making us unhappy, when really it's just our perception that's making us unhappy. So that's why we need to recognize that how we think is what's writing the script for our life. Not other people, not the economy, not other stuff that's going on. It's how we think is writing the script. And if we can change our mind, we can change our script.
That's an interesting thought, because I've recently come to understand that I choose that this, whatever this is good or bad.
Right.
That this is a good cup or a bad cup.
Right.
And I never thought about that so much as when I was raising teenagers, and they awfulized so many things. And then they agonized, not only awfulized, but then you agonize. Well, if I make this decision, this might happen. And if I make that decision, then you know, awfulizing. And one day I said to them, you know, life is a little bit like a game of cards. Every day you're handed 5 new cards. Some days they're great cards, and some days they're flat, not so good. Your only job is to play them to the best of your ability.
Right.
Will it change your future? It might. But you can't be worried about that.
can't
You
be
just
worried about
play this. Now the good news is tomorrow you get 5 new cards.
Right, right.
And you decide, and I never thought about it as much until I had a friend who one day, economy was really bad, like in the late 90s, economy was really bad, and now it is again. And our friend Tom is a heavy equipment operator, and he was over at the house one day and he goes, oh, we need work so bad. He said, you know, we just need another good Northridge earthquake. And I went, Tom, how can you even say that? That Northridge earthquake was awful. To which he said, well, not for us, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It gave us work.
Yes.
So it made me see that you can look at things different.
You can look at things differently. See, one of the things, Hazel, that we don't understand is that we personally judge them and we label them. But things are just things. There has to be a negative and a positive side for it to exist. You know, that's the way our brain works. You don't know, or you couldn't know what hot is if you didn't know what cold was.
Wow.
You couldn't know what tall is if you didn't know what short was. You couldn't know what light was if you didn't know what darkness was. So you see, we need to have the opposite. So why are we saying this is bad and this is good? It's the situation. You know, let's take hot and cold. If I would like a cup of hot tea, hot is better. But if I want a glass of iced tea, cold is better. So, I mean, it's the same water, but in the circumstances will change it. So we need to stop and ask ourselves, why are we labeling? Why are we labeling things? Why are we judging things? Why not just look at them the way they are and deal with them as they are? It's a really important thing. It's not just that changes our life, but there's a Dr. Bruce Lipton. Dr. Bruce Lipton has written a book. It's called The Biology of Life. It's a fabulous book. Let me just put it up here so the viewers can see that for a moment. But Dr. Bruce Lipton, in 1985, was working with cells. Now he understood, like all of us did, that, you know, I am who I am because of my genes and because of the DNA, and you know, my parents died of cancer and I'm going to die of cancer, or they died of a heart attack and I'm going to have a heart attack. So all of these things are just, you know, things we took for granted. So one of the things that Dr. Bruce Lipton did is that he was working with a patient that had multiple personalities. And this girl was very diabetic, but when she changed her personality, she was not diabetic.
Oh my goodness, but that's...
In a split second.
She changed
the same
her body.
The same body. She changed her identity, and she changed her physical illness. So he began to study the DNA and the genes of the cell, and he removed the nucleus and the DNA from the cell, because that's where we thought the brain was. And guess what? The cells lived 2 months. And he said a cell can't live without a brain. So he went on this quest to find out, where is the brain of the cell? And guess where he found it? In the membrane, in the skin, the covering, the outside. And guess what happens to the membrane? It's activated by our belief system.
So our beliefs activate our cells. So if I have, well, I don't know if there's good beliefs or bad beliefs. They're just our beliefs.
You know,
I don't want to assign things.
So I'm saying to Dr. Bruce Lipton, but you say that, you know, we don't get cancer because our parents had it. We don't have a heart attack because our parents had it. It's not passed down that way. But every family has a history of that. My own family, we have the same illnesses. It's nothing unique that's showing up in our family. And he said, well, that's because you handle life the same way. Now that sort of blew my mind, because what he's trying to say in this book is he's trying to say that when we're children, we watch our parents. We watch our parents. We do what they do. We handle life the way they handle life.
Sure we do.
So when stress comes in, when problems come in, we react the way they reacted. Therefore, we activate the cells in the same way that they activated the cells. Therefore, we get the same diseases that they had.
Oh, that makes me all kinds of guilt now. Maybe I did things wrong for my kids. No, I'm
Well, no,
not
but
gonna
they
give
have
guilt.
choice.
They have choice. That's
They have
right. And
choice.
I'm trying to give them new ones.
But the point is that we don't understand how powerful our belief system is. We don't really understand that it's what we believe, it's what we think that's causing or writing the script for our life. It's what we're thinking. It's nobody else out there.
Well, and I know that there's been a lot of studies that talked about how much of our self-talk, and self-talk is probably the rehearsal of some of those things you believe.
Right.
So we go over and over and over, I'm so stupid, how could I have done such a dumb thing? I mean, only an idiot would do that. And we just go over and over. And yet I know that a great percentage of our self-talk is negative. And so that has got to affect then our health and our cells.
77% of what we say to ourselves is
On
negative.
a daily basis.
Yes.
Negative basis.
77%.
So you go, well, I don't like the way my hair is today, or my eyes are
Right.
different than yesterday. Not really.
You know what? We've been groomed to look for what's wrong.
Haven't we though? Oh
You
my
know,
goodness.
And I'm so guilty of causing that in people, really, because when you were in school, didn't you check your spelling words and write the number wrong on top of the page? And
Absolutely.
check the math problems and write the number wrong on the top
Give
of
it
the
a
page?
great big red check mark.
Right. You see, our brain was growing. And what we were learning to do on a consistent basis was to not only look for what's wrong, but make note of it. We did it for at least 12 years, all through grade school and all through high school. Every day we looked for what was wrong and we made note of it. And when we do that, that becomes part of our unconscious way of dealing with life. And if you don't think that's right, Hazel, did you look in the mirror this morning and say perfect?
Perfect?
I mean, we
No.
look in the mirror and we say, you know, where'd this wrinkle come from? Why is this hair in the sink? What held it in yesterday? I mean,
I know.
all of this crazy stuff. We're actually looking at ourselves and pulling ourselves apart and looking for what's wrong.
I've been reading Christine Northrup's book, and I've been trying to say, I love you, my body. And then you go, ooh.
She hasn't seen this one. But you know, it's not just our body. You know, I'm thinking about myself. I'm in the kitchen. I'm cleaning the kitchen. I have done all these dishes, and I should celebrate the clean kitchen, right? Then I think about the laundry has to be done.
That's right.
Are there weeds out in the flower bed that have to be pulled? Or the floor has to be cleaned? It's like there's never an end. That whenever we get finished, we focus on what's not done. We focus on lack. We keep focusing on what's wrong. Well, if our thoughts are creating our life, our thoughts are activating our cells, and our thoughts are always on, there's something wrong, something's that, I have to fix this, I have to fix that. No wonder life doesn't go with the flow. It's painful, it's hard. So one of the things that Dr. Bruce Lipton, I said, well, how do we're stuck. You know,
Yeah, how do we get unstuck? I mean, how do
I can't
shift out of this thing?
I can't relive my childhood. I imitated my parents, right? I imitated what they did. I imitated my teachers. I imitated the adults. What can I do? And he said, the power's in the present moment. We're at choice.
Tell me that a little more.
The power is in the present moment. The past is only a memory.
That's true.
The future is only a dream. There's no energy in the past or in the future. All we have is the now.
I've been really trying to work. That's been a new quest of mine, the now and the
now.
be.
The now is important. And you know what? If we would start looking at our patterns, we would start paying attention to what happens to us. Whenever we're upset, it's because we're focused on the past or the future.
That's pretty true.
We're not really upset about the present. We're focused on the past or the future. And so just take a deep breath and get into the now. So how do we do that? Well, focus on your feet. Wiggle your toes. Can you feel your toes?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Them.
Yeah. You know, and just take another deep breath. Can you feel your knees? Can you feel your back against your chair? Were you worried?
Not when I'm wiggling my toes.
No, because once you get into your body, once you pay attention to where you are right now, you're out of the past and you're out of the future and you can stop. In my 26 years of teaching, I never, ever, ever had a student who was a worrier, who didn't have one parent who was a great worrier. It's like we learned how to worry. We can learn how to stop.
Yeah, they say I come from a long line of overreactors or a long line of worrywarts.
Yes, yes. You see, and I'm glad you brought up that word about reactors, because it's not so much the thoughts, and Bruce Lipton brings this out. It's not so much the thoughts that we have, because you want to read about everything. You want to read pros and cons. You want to read just zillions of things. It's your reaction to them that's activating the membrane of the cell. Your reaction to it. And so that's what we learn from our parents, is how to react. We learn from our teachers, our siblings, our friends, how to react. So let me just give you an example. You know, you could have a child at the table to spill a glass of milk. That's an unfortunate thing. The tablecloth is wet and this is a little inconvenient or whatever it is. And one parent will get up and say, oh, and wipe it up and I'll get you another glass of milk. Or another parent could say, look at the tablecloth, and be all frightened and all upset. So we learn the reaction. And if the reaction is negative, if the reaction is causing an emotion in us, and emotion is energy plus motion.
Yeah, it's more solid, isn't it?
Right.
When you add emotion to words, then they become even tighter into us.
Now you've bombarded the membrane of the cell when you've added that emotion. So emotion is good. It's good, because if the emotion is negative, well, you're going to send negative messages throughout your whole body. But if the emotion is positive, you're sending great endorphins and your body's getting healthy, and you know all those things, you know. So we want to have emotion, but we want to have it about positive things. We want to recognize that we can never blame anybody for any situation in our life. And I know that's no fun.
It's just no fun at all.
It was an easy out.
People for everything, then it's like, whew, off my back, but really it isn't.
It isn't. It's copping out. It's not. You're not changing your life.
And so
you're
you
just
stay
shifting.
stuck.
Yeah, you're shifting this. You say, well, I can't do this because of so and so. So we want to watch the word. We want to watch the patterns we have. We want to watch how we deal with stress. What is the pattern? How do we deal with depression? How do we deal with death? How do we deal with life? How do we deal with success? You know, we want to just watch how we do it. And guess what? We're going to be the last ones to know how we do it. We need to ask our family members, our friends, to tell us, how do we deal with that? Because we're on automatic pilot. We just do it, and we don't know what we're doing. But someone can say, well, you cry, or you stomp, or you
throw
sulk,
things,
or
scream,
or do whatever it is. So your friends or your family members can let you recognize the pattern. So the minute you recognize the pattern, then you know that, let's say, one of my patterns is that I deal with stress by going to the refrigerator.
Oh, yes.
There's always something in there that's going to take it away. And so when the other nuns told me, you know, you eat your problems away, I put a big sign on my refrigerator that says,
Unplugged.
The answer's not here, which is my clue to breathe. It's simple. The clue is always breathe.
Breathe.
Always breathe, because I stopped breathing when I was stressed. Wow. I took the oxygen from my cells. I created more stress on my cells. My problem got bigger. So
when you breathe, then you can allow free-flowing thought again, and you can come up with an
oxygen.
alternative.
Calm yourself down. Calm yourself down. Activate the right lobe of your brain, because stress is in the left lobe of your brain. And it is in this centeredness and this calming that we become creative. And we're creative, and we can come up with a new answer. So we don't have to figure out, what can I do when I'm stressed? Basically, all we have to do is recognize when you are stressed and begin to breathe. There's another technique they teach in neuro-linguistic programming that, you know, have you ever been like so upset that you say, the more I think about it, the madder I get?
Yeah, oh yes.
You know, and so it was kind of like we're on a treadmill. We can't stop thinking of this. We just kept going. There is a mind-body connection. And if you can't get the situation off your mind, move your body.
Go tell me that again.
Okay, if you can't get the problem off of your mind, move your body, because you will disconnect, because there is a mind-body connection. You know, every thought we think is recorded in every cell in our bodies. It's not just in our head, it goes all over our whole body. So if my whole body is worried, and now I'm taking a fast walk, well, I can't take the fast walk and worry at the same time. You see, so that's why we feel so much better when we go to the gym, or we exercise, or we do jumping jacks, or jump on a trampoline, or take a walk, even walk the labyrinth. You know, all of that is moving the body so that we can shift the mind to another way. So in order to really change our life and to change our mind, we have to put exercise in there.
Well, that's I like that.
Yes, and you know, some people are older and they say, well, I can't walk, my joints hurt. You know, you can move your arms. That's exercise. You can go up and down. They've got chair exercises you can do. It doesn't say how you have to move your body. You just have to move it and you lose a connection. And then breathe. Then breathe and then choose differently. Choose a different pattern, but recognize, first of all, what pattern you have.
Oh, that's really important. So much of what we can do is simply by changing our mind about what it is.
Yes.
And then select a breath and then select a different option.
Right.
Because when I'm calm enough, I have options.
You have options.
My mind is creative enough to give me options.
Yes. And to tell yourself, in every situation, there's something good and there's something that's negative. So I have the choice to choose to go on either side.
Well, I kind of like that, because, you know, there's people who you meet and they go, how's today? How's your day? And they'll go, you know, it's raining out, or it's cold out, or it's way too hot. And I kind of just like to go, it's a wonderful day. I'm alert, I'm awake, I'm talking, I'm walking down the hall, I'm breathing, I'm here, I'm experiencing
and I'm alive.
now. I'm alive now.
Right, right.
That's something we were talking about a little while ago. How many people are not living now? They're not now.
They're worried about the future. They're worried about finances. They're worried about their children. They're worried about their health. You know, and
when you're there, you're not here.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
I was giving a workshop at our holistic center on Sunday, and it was about living in the now. And I was trying to find a worksheet that I could hand them to remind them to live in the now. And I couldn't come up with any questions or whatever, so I drew this big picture of a tombstone with a little cartoon on the outside, and it said, here lies somebody who was waiting to be happy. And I think that we need to recognize that life is not about waiting. Life is about participating now, making choices now that will make us happy and energize us, and
we all have that power.
We all have that power.
That right now, I can make a different choice, and I can start living my life now. I don't wait for the lottery.
No,
Like I haven't even bought the tickets, so it's got to blow up on my door. I don't wait for a family member to make a different decision.
Right.
I just take care of now. And I can choose.
And recognize that whenever I have the tendency to blame somebody or to make an excuse, I'm avoiding making a choice.
Well,
you see?
I don't know how that makes everybody out there feel, but sometimes we try not to make a choice, and that might go back to those learned patterns from our family.
You know, and sometimes the choice is do nothing.
That is a good choice.
Just do nothing. Just sit here and breathe. The planet's not going to stop pivoting on its axis.
Sun will come up tomorrow morning.
It will come up tomorrow morning. It will happen. You know, and just breathe. Just center and just breathe. We also have to recognize that we have this little voice in our head. I kind of want to call them a roommate, that they're always talking and they're always chattering and they're always telling us, I should do this, I should do that, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, you know how we were talking about
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
So I've got this roommate in my head that won't stop talking. And so, you know, how do you stop the chatter in your head? You really can't.
I've really tried, and it's not working
Well,
very well.
I'm coming up with something different that's working.
Okay.
I'm giving my roommate something to say. I'm telling the chatter in my head, sing the Sound of Music, sing the theme song for Sound of Music, sing this, sing that, give them a song to sing. And whenever you've got, have you ever had a song on your mind you just couldn't get it off?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Are you worrying?
I don't think so.
You can't. You can't worry when the lyrics are going through your head. You can't worry. So you know what? Turn your chatterbox into a musician. Let them sing, let them play, whatever it is. And then they're not giving you all these guilt trips and telling you how bad you are and what you should do and you shouldn't do and everything else. It's
Well, we have been made so wonderfully. And I think most of the time we tend not to appreciate
we
that
forget it.
marvelous person. And you know, you're the only you that this planet will have. And so you have a special reason to be here. And I think that of all of my viewers and our entire audience, every single person is here for a very special reason.
You know, that's what I try to do every Saturday, is to tell people every single Saturday at our workshops, just to, if you can just go home loving yourself no matter how great you are. You know, people just try to make excuses, and we can just learn to do that, to love and accept ourselves, and to know that all is well. All is well. We can choose it.
We've made good choices.
And even choices that we think were bad, they moved us to the next rung of the ladder.
That's right. Bad things happen, and it makes us make different choices, and we grow.
We grow and we learn different things.
And we get better. Well, Sister Joni, if somebody else wants to ask some questions of you, wants to know a little bit more about you and your organization, how would they find you?
Well, they could go online. It's holyspiritmonastery.org.
holyspiritmonastery.org. Okay.
Yes, they could contact me that way.
Okay.
I'm in Grand Terrace. They could contact me there too. I do have a phone.
Well,
but go to the website
and your book was Biology of
Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. It's wonderful. It's revolutionary.
Well, today's been a really great day. I hope you've learned a lot. I certainly have. I appreciate so much you sharing of your wisdom
I'm glad you invited me.
And I just look forward to being a little more peaceful, breathing a little more, understanding that my mind can actually change. The way I use my mind can change my life. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
So until we meet in the kitchen next time, be well, stay happy, and enjoy now.